it's Nicole, and today I want to talk about how I've been thinking about recording my reading. Since I properly got back into reading as an adult in my early 20s, I used Goodreads to record all of my reading and all of the books that I wanted to read, and that has been working really well for me. There's not really been any reason for me to change from that, except that I don't like Amazon and they bought Goodreads, and for a while now I've been looking at whether or not it makes a difference that I don't actually purchase anything on Goodreads, but then I guess that implies that I am the product that is being sold to advertisers and so on. And just, I don't know, for me, I've just been uncomfortable with the association at all. And I'm just really trying more and more to live in line with my values as much as I can. And that's just not a necessity. So it made sense for me to try harder to move away from that platform as best I could. I have not done that successfully yet, but I'm still in the process. A few years ago, did try to move to Storygraph, and I moved all of my stuff from Goodreads to Storygraph, and then I proceeded to not properly use Storygraph and continue to use Goodreads, which means there's a whole group of books now that I think have been recorded on Goodreads but haven't been on Storygraph, and so things on Storygraph are a little bit higgledy-piggledy. That said, I'm not sure it really matters because recently the way that I record and why I record my reading and all of that stuff has really been changing quite a lot. So I no longer feel like I need to have a star rating on the books that I finish. And I don't really feel like I have to say something about a book that just didn't inspire any significant commentary from me when I was reading it. I think there is still something valuable in making yourself conjure thoughts for something that you've experienced, even though you don't initially have anything that you feel is significant to say. But I don't feel as compelled to force something out of myself in response to every book that I read. And I am well aware that lots of people have talked about, they want to move to Storygraph or something similar. I think there's Fable and other alternatives out there as well. Storygraph, of the ones that I know about, and I don't know very much about any of the others other than Storygraph, but I quite like that it is co-owned by a Black woman and it's a small business and they seem to be all right, ethically. So that's why I kind of lean towards that, if anything, and we'll get on to the if anything later. But I know a lot of people like Storygraph because it's such a clean interface and Goodreads is so cluttered and all of that stuff. I don't really care. I quite like how Goodreads is, and it's probably largely led by a familiarity bias or something like that. I'm just used to it, but I don't mind that it doesn't look the cleanest and is kind of clunky looking or whatever. I'm very familiar with everything there and I can find everything quite easily. So that's, again, not an issue for me. It's the Amazonness of it all that is the issue for me. Knowing what my main motivations for moving are and knowing that the aesthetic and everything of Goodreads is not a deterrent for me, I think kind of helps to fill in the fact that there's not a lot, while there is a push away from Amazon, there's not really a pull towards anything for me at the moment. I would also say that I really like how community-centered Goodreads is. As far as I can tell, there's no way to comment on other people's reading activity or anything on Storygraph, which is good in some ways, and for me, not so much in other ways, because I do value that sort of conversation that you are able to have. I think it happens a lot less nowadays than when I first got on Goodreads, but I like that there is the possibility to have that discussion on the platform. Where there isn't on Storygraph, which makes it a little bit more I don't want to say insular, but it's more you-focused, even though there is the possibility of seeing what other people are reading and whatnot. You can't really, there isn't much interaction with other people. And not only is there not much interaction, I also feel I don't like that when I go to the Storygraph homepage, the main thing that sticks out to me is recommendations from the app, not from other people, and giveaways and stuff like that. It's not even my page, it's not even my profile page or anything like that as the first thing that I see. And on Goodreads, the first thing that fills my homepage feed thing is the community. It's like what all of my friends are reading, and like the possibility to interact and comment on that kind of thing. So that is where I'm at the moment, and I don't want all of that to end up coming across as like I'm a Goodreads stan or anything. I'm just trying to explain the difficulty in moving from that platform. But I would also say somewhere in the difficulty of finding the perfect option for me to move to, I had a lot of thoughts about whether or not I even want an online platform for recording my reading at all. I think especially when you take the community aspect away, or like minimize the community aspect quite a lot, like what Storygraph seems to have done, it really makes me question whether or not there is a point to me being on a platform like that to record my reading, especially when I am also used to having, for the last 5 years, I haven't done it this year, but having a spreadsheet that I record the things that are important to me about my reading. And although I know Storygraph is like the story graph, and there's loads of graphs and there's loads of data, I guess, I'll be honest, a lot of the data is stuff I don't care about. I don't care about the mood of the book that I read. I don't really care about whether or not it was fast or slow paced or anything like that. I mean, maybe that's something that other people care about when they're looking to pick up a book. I don't. I don't care about how many pages I read this year. Like, that's kind of a fun thing to find out, but I don't really care that much. So there's a lot of data that it records that I don't care about, adding to the thing of like, should I even be recording my reading in this kind of way? Maybe I should just go back to my spreadsheet, or having just a notebook or something. And that was starting to seem really, really appealing to me. And then I came across the challenges section of Storygraph, where you can set yourself a challenge. I have not quite figured out yet the whole making a challenge public thing, and I don't think I'll bother, because there's a whole thing about like making sure it doesn't overlap with this or that, and having it have more visibility so people can jump, blah, blah, blah. And then it started to feel like more and more responsibilities, so I'm not doing that anymore. But I really like the idea that you can have customizable challenges for yourself, because I set a lot of challenges for myself, and I currently have 2 going right now on there, and one of them is to read my own books, and the other one is for my like art theory reading challenge, where I want to read 6 books on the topic of like art and creativity and craft, etc., etc. And you can also like assign your books to that challenge and whatnot. Very, very fun. So now I'm staying on there, but I haven't quite been able to get myself to move from Goodreads and just stop recording on there as well. I have started in little bits, like putting my information into Storygraph first, and then maybe only doing a review on Storygraph and not Goodreads, to get myself in the habit of being one place more than another until the other one falls away. And I hope that I will feel so motivated. But for me, it's just really hard to be like, I don't know, just gone. When you've built something with people who are not in your daily life, and who you don't have regular contact with, and who you wouldn't go out of your way to be like, oh, hey, I'm leaving to this other thing. Do you want to follow me on there? And also I can follow you on there. And we like, I don't have that relationship with a lot of the people that I follow on Goodreads. So that it just feels like I would be losing a community of people that I interact with. And I think I will do that at some point. Like, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and be like, okay, whatever, that's just what life is sometimes. And I feel like talking about it in this way makes it feel super dramatic and whatnot, and it's not. I know that it's not. But I'm just saying, I'm just running through all of the back and forth feelings that I've been having. I considered just not having anything online at all, and just recording exclusively on my spreadsheet, my reading spreadsheet, or maybe using a notebook for that kind of thing. But I decided I just enjoy recording in a public community type of space, even if the community aspect isn't as emphasized as I would like. I will be continuing to record at least on Storygraph, if not for a little while, Storygraph and Goodreads, hopefully eventually exclusively Storygraph. It also made me realize how important I think recording my thoughts on BookTube is to me. I think even though I always have loads of things by the end of the video that I forgot to say, and it's really annoying to me, I think just that process of having to voice my opinions on something that I just read is useful, and so that's definitely something that I want to continue doing in some way, whether that is verbally or written. And I am enjoying the Storygraph challenges function, and so because that's fun for the moment, I guess this ends up just being a video where I'm like, I'm still trying to move to Storygraph, and I've moved a little bit more than I had before, and I'm considering moving off of online platforms such as that altogether, but just not yet. And also, it really makes me want to continue BookTube. And I guess that's where we're at. I would love to know what everybody else's thoughts on this are. Are you still on Goodreads? Are you trying to move? Have you moved to Storygraph? How are you reconciling the differences of the things that you really enjoyed about Goodreads that aren't quite there yet on Storygraph? Do you have other ways of recording your reading that you're really enjoying? I would really like to know all of that while I kind of process how I want to approach these things, because another thing that I'd like is to not be focusing so much on the sort of accessories to reading and be focusing more of my time towards just the actual reading. So even though the recording of the reading is part of the hobby, sort of, like, I think the sharing of thoughts is more so part of the reading hobby, and the recording part is just the annoying admin in between for me. So yeah, I would really like to know your thoughts on that, because I think it would probably help tip me over the edge for deciding what I want to do going forward, or at least give me more ideas to explore. There's probably going to be another video on this in a few years' time where I've maybe made some sort of decision. So that's all I have to say on that for now, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.